Good afternoon, everyone. Here we are again, this time with Kelly Goods in London, UK, and we are all the team of us, Sutapadasa, Gandini, and Karana. How are you, everyone? Hello, hello, welcome. Well, we have this super artist from UK, from London specifically, and Sutapa is going to read his bio. Yes, please, Sutapa.
Welcome,
Okay.
Keli.
Welcome. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm outside at the moment. I may go back in if you can't hear me, but it's just such a pleasure, a joy, a privilege, and an honor to be here with you all and see your faces. And I'm just so happy to connect with you all, even though not in person. I feel that there is already a strong connection between us all. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. We are always thirsty for inspiring people like you and devotees and people who excel at their art, and they're also spiritual people. So today we are going to introduce you to our team and to our audience. And well, it starts like this. So Kelly Woods, having left the life of a musician to join the ashram at the age of 20, Kelly lived as a monk for 5 years in Wales, UK, studying ancient Vedic texts and sharing this wisdom with the public. Having recently moved to London, Kelly is now using his creativity and charisma to share Krishna consciousness with the modern world in a new and exciting ways. Now a manager of Studio 108 in London, member of Mantra Roots, recording artist, mentor, and Bhakti educator, Kelly has a lot on his plate, but always has time to connect with new people like today. And well, Kelly, we have, besides myself, somebody who wants to speak a little bit to you. So I guess Gandini now will share this video we have for you.
Jai.
I will stop my video now so we can have more space in the...
Hi Kaylee, it's your friend Jake. I've got a list of our EP songs here and I'm gonna try and make a poem using the titles. We first met a year ago, bruv, when we encouraged everyone to feel love. Feel like I've known you for ages, why I don't know, but it might be because you're an old soul. And not just old, I mean ancient. I wanted to meet you, but I had to be patient. And all of those wonderful words you've spoken help me out when the world feels it's built to be broken. So, even though the world gets tough, I always remember there's levels to love. And I'll see you soon, maybe on Monday, definitely that's when I'm seeing you. Alright, bye, thanks Kaylee. That was just a funny one. Really, the truth is, Kaylee, it was great meeting you online for so long. And now I'm really glad I've met you in person. And you're a funny old character, funny old bean, but I think you're great. I like you, and yeah, I will see you soon. Let's keep encouraging people to feel love.
Excellent, excellent. We arranged this.
I hope you enjoyed the surprise.
Yes.
Wow. I really wasn't expecting that. That was amazing.
Thank you, Sheikh, for the little surprise for you. Okay, we have this question. We are going to begin with the first one. I think I sent it to you, but well, if you check it, okay, it's now or never. Well, the first question we have: what is music for you?
What is music for me?
Yes.
That's a fantastic question. You know, music is a huge topic, actually. And I'm not even sure if it's something that can be defined in a sentence or two, because I really believe that music is synonymous with life. In my short 25 years in this body, I have realized that anything I learn in life can be applied to music, and anything I learn in music can be applied to life. So music for me is more than just entertainment. Music for me is more than just technique or creativity, but it's actually a vehicle for self-realization. I think all arts can act as a vehicle for self-realization, but music is particularly powerful because it works directly with vibration, and everything in this universe, in this known world, is vibrating, whether it's something liquid or solid or ethereal. Everything is vibrating. So I realized, I guess, from a young age that we can use vibration to heal, or we can use it to inflict. And for me, the culmination of healing music was found in mantra music. And, you know, I don't believe that you can only heal people with mantra. I feel that if your intention is strong enough, then the form, any form will do, but the substance is the main thing. The form isn't so important. It can be any genre, any instrument, you know, it can be any style. But if the intention is there, if the substance of the musician is strong, then it will be felt by the audience. So it's a bit of a long-winded answer, but for me, music is more than just something entertaining or something pleasant to listen to, but it's actually a force of nature that can act as a vehicle for self-realization. I hope that makes sense.
Yes, a lot.
A lot.
Thank
Thank
you so much. About the intention, it's very interesting about the fact that the intention is what it counts, you know, what is the intention of that. So thank you. Very nice. So it's my next question. So who was first to manifest in your life, the musician or your spiritual practitioner? And what was each of these experiences like?
That's such a good question. If you see, so I'm standing outside this venue here, Studio 108. This is our new preaching venue, and I'll try and show you. There's some people inside playing music right now, and can you see that really small child on the beanbag?
Yes.
Yes.
So he was just leading a mantra session, a kirtan session for about 30 people. This he's like 5 or 6 year old boy or something. And everyone was up and chanting and dancing. And I was thinking, what was I doing when I was 5 years old? Or even what was I doing when I was 10 or I was 15? I didn't have such a prevalent spiritual practice or even like spiritual personalities in my life when I was so young. I was kind of lucky enough to be born into a family of artists and musicians and carers, like nurses and such. So it's quite a nice cocktail. I always felt like artists and nurses. You know, both are you know, both have capacity to heal and to serve, both art and medicine. But yeah, the musician definitely manifested first. My father, my uncle, my brother, and some cousins, they were all musicians. So from a very young age, I was attending their performances and kind of spending time with their friends and such. That actually led to me kind of pursuing a career in music myself. So when I was 12 years old, I joined a band, a jazz band, and we started a music venue together in Wales. And we would play at this music venue every Monday just like 12-year-old boys playing in this new jazz venue.
Yeah, wow.
And then we started traveling a lot. We were traveling around the UK and around Wales playing music. And we did this for about 8 or 9 years. We were together all of the time.
Wow.
And it got to a point where we decided, let's go traveling. So what we did is we actually purchased a decommissioned ambulance. We purchased an ambulance, and we took everything out of the ambulance and we made it into a bandwagon. So this was the plan. We were going to take our music around Europe and take it to the streets. And God had different plans for us, actually. So instead of traveling around Europe playing jazz music in an ambulance, we came into contact with Krishna consciousness. So can you still hear me? Is the connection
Yes,
okay?
very appropriate.
Yes, perfect.
Very cool, very appropriate with the ambulance.
Excellent, excellent.
Now we
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes, perfect.
Okay, sorry. So yeah, instead of traveling around Europe in an ambulance playing jazz music, one of my bandmates got a Bhagavad Gita in London, actually, just a few streets from where I'm standing now. And he brought this book back to Wales, and everyone in the band started to read it. And at this time, we were in a very interesting situation or position in our lives. We were very materially exhausted. We'd been living this lifestyle of sex, drugs, and rock and roll from far too young. And so by the time we were 18 or 19, we'd seen it all and done it all. And we were really looking for something more in life. So when we came into contact with genuine spiritual literature, our lives completely changed. And anyway, the short story is, instead of traveling around in this ambulance, instead we all became monks and moved into an ashram. So it was incredible. From that one book, from that one Bhagavad Gita that my friend got from a nice lady in London, she made like 3 monks, and also the girlfriends of the monks joined the ashram as well. So,
Wow.
Wow,
It's very
excellent.
impressive that everybody got along also, no? Very impressive everybody decided, because sometimes when that happens, one person is more awake and the other one doesn't want it, you know? It seems very impressive that
Exactly.
everyone.
All the group.
yeah, it was a unanimous yeah, it was a unanimous decision for us all, because we were used to doing everything together anyway. So it just made sense for us to all drastically change our lives at exactly the same time.
Excellent choice. Excellent.
Very cool. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much.
Story to be cut and spread more and more. It's lovely. And I love the fact that an ambulance, you know, because
Yeah.
Is that okay? Does that answer your question?
yes, of course.
Yes, totally.
Yes.
Yes, thank you so much. The next question is, when it
Great.
came to composition, which was your greatest source of inspiration?
Well, that's interesting, because, well, when I moved into the ashram after having been a musician for so long, there was a real gap, I guess, in my technical abilities and my desire to express myself. So, you know, like when you're a child and you're just beginning to learn how to speak, there's so much you want to say, but you just don't have the words, and it can be quite frustrating.
Yes.
So this has kind of been the same for me recently. I've had a lot that I wanted to say, but because I've spent time in the ashram and away from music and practice, the technical ability hasn't been there so much.
Yeah.
However, in terms of inspiration, that was the question, right? Where do I get
Yes, the
inspiration?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Well, inspiration is a really interesting word.
We lose you?
Yeah. Kelly, we lose you a little bit when you move sometimes. So we lose the internet connection a little bit, and now you're silent.
Maybe.
That's all right.
Yes. You're back again. We will.
Yeah.
We are listening to you.
Is that better? I've changed the internet.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, we cannot see you now, so we like to see you. There you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're back.
Okay. I'm so sorry.
That's all right. It's part of material world,
Don't worry.
You know, technology is good. It helps us, and it has, you know, its perks.
Who was talking about inspiration?
Yeah, that word inspiration, it has a Latin root. The Latin root is inspiro, which literally means to be filled with the breath of God.
Wow.
And so I think, like, after I left the ashram and I came back home to stay with my parents for a while, because I'd been surrounded and saturated in spiritual life for 4 or 5 years, I was definitely filled with this breath of God. And due to the pandemic and everything, I had to be in lockdown at my parents' house for a few months, and it really gave me time to breathe, you know, this inspiration that I'd been filled with for 4 or 5 years, and so much came out. So more than just there being a particular artist that I like to listen to or that I aspire to be, I genuinely believe that, like, the best thing for creative life is spiritual life, because really all inspiration comes from a divine source. And, you know, all of the great scientists and artists and thinkers agree on this as well, that we are all merely just taking bubbles of inspiration from the ocean of divinity.
Yeah.
So I think my main inspiration is having a spiritual life, you know, and connecting with God in that way. And then it takes a lot of pressure off, because in no way am I responsible for what I compose. I merely try and make myself a suitable vessel for God to use, you know. So it takes a lot of pressure off, because then I'm not so attached to what I do, you know. If it's good, then that's wonderful. If it's bad, then that's okay as well, because it wasn't me, it's God's fault.
Thank you so much. The
Yes,
next
thank you.
question is, do you consider music to be a form of spirituality? I think you do. I think you do.
I definitely do. I definitely do. And for me as well, music is it's a language.
Yes.
And you can take music to anywhere in the world, and people will understand you, you know. And isn't that what kind of a spiritual practice is all about as well? It's about connecting and trying to communicate something, you know, whether we're trying to communicate directly with God, or whether we're trying to communicate God with others. And I feel that, yeah, music is probably one of the most powerful languages in the world. And something really interesting about music and spirituality is how, unlike other languages that you have to learn and study and be absorbed in to speak it, I feel like music is a language that's dormant within everyone, you know.
Yes, yes.
Like, everyone naturally knows how to dance, everyone naturally knows how to sing. You may be good or you may not, you know, but this language is dormant within everyone, and it's sure, you know, you can be technically good, and you can perhaps be more adept or more proficient than others, but in terms of the essence of music, I think it's yeah, it's a dormant spiritual language within everyone, you know.
Very nice.
Yeah. Thank
Beautiful.
you.
I can agree more. And on the topic of spirituality, you know, nowadays spirituality is a hot topic, let's say, you know, everybody talks about spirituality. So what does spirituality means to you particularly, you know?
Yeah. What does spirituality mean to me? Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because like there are many definitions for the same word these days. For me, I think spiritual life is something that's always changing, you know. When I first joined the ashram, actually, I guess you could have considered me a spiritual fanatic, you know. And I think that's the case for most people, no? When they actually first take to some kind of spiritual practice, they usually take to it very fanatically and seriously.
Yeah.
But as time goes on, as time goes by, you become more comfortable with your newfound identity, and your fanaticism is kind of transmuted almost into yeah, I guess a more inclusive lifestyle rather than an exclusive lifestyle. So yeah, by that I just mean that genuine spirituality for me is something that is inclusive and not exclusive. You know, a genuine spiritual practitioner will be able to see all beings, all entities, all groups and nationalities and genders and whoever, you know, be able to see everyone as part of a big family. They'll be able to see a unity in the diversity of life. Whereas I think a lot of people, they get it wrong when they say, yes, I'm very spiritual, but they remain exclusive to a certain group, and they don't welcome others and other beliefs and other world views into their paradigm of spiritual life. So again, a bit of a long answer, but yeah,
I like it.
that's
This is very nice. We are totally agree with you. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
The next question is, what are your plans for the future?
That's such a good question. I was hoping you could tell me.
We can give you a few ideas if you want.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, actually, I when I was in lockdown, I was teaching music and teaching songwriting online a lot, and I actually made a lot of good friends that way. I made one good friend, Yaitsa, Jaisita. Maybe you know Jaisita.
Yes,
So
she plays the cello.
Yeah, she plays cello. She lives in Puerto Rico in Paradise. And so I was thinking, hey, I can, maybe I can go and see Jaisita and have a holiday. And so that was my plan a couple months ago. Was like, okay, I've been in lockdown for 10 months now. I'm going kind of crazy, and I want to go on holiday, So so that's what I was going to do. I didn't have any other plans, but somehow or another, this is my friend, by the way. Can I introduce you? This is Dayal Mora, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna.
Nice to see you. Are you all well?
How are you?
Very nice, very nice.
They're saying, how are you?
Oh, I'm fine. I'm brilliant. I'm wonderful. How are you all doing?
He's
Good.
asking, how are you?
Excellent.
Yeah, he cannot hear us because he has the earpiece.
Yeah.
Okay, behave yourselves.
Thanks, bye.
Bye-bye.
So that was the plan. And yeah, Krishna had other plans. So just spontaneously something came up, an offer to to move to the big smoke. And someone like this person I just introduced you to, Diomora, Diomora has been fundamental in helping me to kind of find my feet in one way or another. But really, it was so unexpected, and my life is like there's new prospects and opportunities, and yeah, I'm kind of freestyling on life a little bit at the moment, if I'm honest to you.
I like that, you know. That's very
yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Follow the rhythm, you know. I say it live, you know.
Exactly. I think a lot of people in this day and age, they're very anxious about not having clarity or not having a purpose or a direction in life. And really, the only direction that we can be sure of is birth and death, you know. So what happens in between that is usually a bit of a mystery.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in my experience as well, like Krishna is always better at making plans for my life than I am.
I agree.
So
We think the same.
hold on, sorry, I have.
Should we bring your jump for?
Yeah. Sorry. That's okay. Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, I couldn't tell you in 5 years' time. I'm not sure. My motto at the moment is just to remain blissful at all costs, and I really feel that is my dharma more than being like a musician or a composer or a artist or anything like that. My dharma in life is to just be as blissful as possible and share that with as many people as possible. And it's not an official job description. I'm not necessarily I'm not getting paid for it, and I don't have a certificate to prove that I am blissful, but it's actually a daily endeavor, you know. It's a daily endeavor, and I feel like that's perhaps the best way I can add value to other people's lives and to the world whilst I'm present here. So I'm sorry I can't give you a more specific answer, but I don't know myself. So
that's perfect. That's perfect. Answer.
Yeah.
Thank you. What's great.
And
The
I
next
think,
question.
yeah.
What is the main legacy you would like to convey to raising kids or future generations?
That's such a good question. Do you mean like if I have children, what legacy would? Or,
In general.
The kids who are growing, the growing up kids, you know, like young kids are growing, you know, what legacy you want to leave to them, you know?
Yeah, that's amazing. I guess it would have two parts to it. The first part would be, well, there's this book actually by an author named Richard Raw, and he wrote this one book called Falling Upwards. And it's a really fantastic book because it describes that there's actually like two halves of life. Yeah. We go through usually we go through two halves of life. The first half is about building your ego, building this this identity, you know, that we. So yeah, if you're a devotee of Krishna and you get initiated into Krishna consciousness by a spiritual master or something, you take vows and it's very serious. It can literally feel like you've had two lives. Your name changes, your lifestyle changes. But this is how Richard Raw describes it. Like the first half of our life is all about building an ego, building an identity, and, you know, learning to trust in your abilities as an individual. And then the second half of life is destroying that ego, and instead of trusting in your abilities, you trust in God's abilities. And actually you can you can arrive at a, how would you say, you can arrive at a state of spiritual maturity when you realize that there's more to life than this identity, this ego that I've been building up of my name or my race or my likes or my dislikes and so on. But there's actually there's a deeper identity to discover, which is one that's inherent in the soul. And having that knowledge, if I had this knowledge now when I was very young, I think I would be a lot further along in life, both materially and spiritually. So if there's any kind of legacy, then it would just be to, I guess, inspire and encourage young people to allow themselves the opportunity of having an ego and building an ego, but also not to be too disturbed when it's destroyed. And, you know, to also allow yourself to mature spiritually and materially to the extent where you can rely more on God's vision for your life than your vision for your life, or society's vision for your life, or, you know, I think that's a huge thing, like this pressure that people feel to be a certain way, have a certain career, or so on. It's definitely a pressure that a lot of young people feel. So
I love that answer, and I think if we can change half and half, we can change 1/10 of your life to, you know, 90% of your life. You know, we can change the percentages. You know, and I think that the faster you change the percentages, probably you can be, like you say, more happy and blissful, and that will show. You know, that's
such an important point, because that's what happened to me. Actually, I tried to give 90% to God straight away, and it was too much. So actually, I would encourage everyone, first you give 10% to God and keep 90% for yourself. And then if that works out, you can give 80% to God and keep 20 for yourself. And eventually you may get to 50-50, eventually you may get to 100. But that's a really good point, actually. Definitely agree with you.
Thank you so much for your wonderful answers. And we have a couple more, so hopefully you're not getting too tired.
Not at all. I'm really enjoying myself.
And we're enjoying your responses, are very enlightening. Yeah. Several quotes I want to post it all over the internet, are really insightful, so thank you. All right, the next one, number 8. We saw your video 70 Songs in 7 months, and there you bring up some very deep and interesting topics. You said, where words fell, music speak. And you explain introspection through songs, writing, and so on. Would you be so kind to explain some more of that for us and the audience?
Yeah, well, I guess just elaborating on the point I was trying to make earlier, how, music is a vehicle for intention. And there are so many things that are left unspoken because they're usually uncomfortable, you know. Like, life is all about relationship, you know, whether it's relationship with yourself or your family or your friends or your partner or your children or God. Life is all about relationships. And that quote where music, where words fail, music speaks. I think that's a very powerful quote because it shows that art can act as a medium to communicate things that are perhaps difficult to communicate otherwise in life. So this can also happen with, within a dialogue that you can have with yourself. There are maybe things that you want to tell yourself that you're not ready to hear, but actually through art and through music, it makes it easier even to communicate with yourself. And so you can digest the experiences that come to you in life, and you can express that through music, and it makes it a lot easier to come to terms with reality, in my experience. So perhaps I come across something in life that is uncomfortable or even overwhelmingly joyful. If I don't have the emotional intelligence and capacity to digest that, then I can use music and art as a means of introspection and digestion, and better have this dialogue with myself. So
Yes.
And again, I think that's something that's possible for everyone and anyone. This is just like, yeah, more evidence of the healing power of music and art.
Wonderful.
I agree
Thank
with
you
you.
so much.
I'm going to try and think of something to say that you disagree with.
Okay.
We like that. I love to disagree, so don't test me.
I'm a pacifist, really. So
I like intellectual debate.
Yeah.
yeah. I only have intellectual debates on certain days. Like it's
Call me
it's
those
the
days.
I will. It's the weekend now, so I don't tend to have intellectual debates on the weekend. That's my party time.
Thank you. The next question is, speaking of which, will you tell us about your experience in and out monastic life?
You really want to hear about it, huh?
Yeah.
Yes.
If you want to share, it's always you have freedom
Yeah.
not to share, but if you like to share, of course.
No, definitely. What I'm just trying to go inside of this building so it's not so
Yes, yes.
noisy. What's Krishna. Anyway, don't worry. What specifically because I mean, yeah, ashram life was like quite a big portion of my life. Is there anything like specifically that you're interested in, or you suggest I should talk about?
Yeah.
No, like you know,
no, the contrast. Sorry, I'm not on video.
I
but
see.
yes, you know that experience where you
Like the transition, you mean?
Yes, you took two transitions. One when you went from the marching band to the temple or to the monastery or where you were, and then you in that video you speak about going out of the temple into your parents' house and
Yeah.
how intense and what were your thoughts and what was that experience? Because many people fears that. I guess you can inspire us a bit about that.
I have no regrets and I hold no grudges. One thing I would have loved to know, or one thing I would have loved someone to tell me at the time of being in the ashram is I would have loved someone to say, this isn't a permanent arrangement, okay? You're going to be here for a few years and I want you to really make the most of it, but also do think about what's to come, because I feel like it's a very drastic change, like literally from my kind of from my immature days to my ashram days. The contrast was huge. Within the space of a month or two, I went from going to bed at 4 a.m. to waking up at 4 a.m. I went from having really, really long hair to having no hair at all. I went from having a girlfriend to being celibate for 5 years. I went from, being intoxicated every day to being, as sober as anyone can possibly be. So the contrasts were huge, which was wonderful, but I would have loved to known that it's not going to be like this forever, and really make the most of it. Because after like 3 years, I think I started to have this existential dread that, is this sustainable for me? Can I really live like this for the rest of my life in such a intense spiritual kind of climate or crucible? I really like that word, crucible.
Yes.
Do you know what a crucible is?
I personally not.
It's a wonderful word. A crucible is it's basically like a vessel into which you pour molten metal. You pour very hot liquid metal. And this crucible, this vessel will hold the hot metal in place long enough for it to cool down and become the object or the tool that it's intended to become. So this is how I see ashram life, is like when you join an ashram, you're just this like melting pot of potential. And especially if you're if you're like a 19-20-year-old boy, it's scientifically proven that at that age, like everything is on fire for you. Like, you know, like, you know, I'm talking hormones wise, you know, it's like, so everything's on fire, and you just want to go out and succeed in life, and you're so passionate, and you want to meet people and do things and be places and be seen. And so you have all of this incredible potential, but the ashram kind of holds you in place, so you can't run away from yourself. And yeah, it holds you in place long enough to cool down and become a suitable vessel for God, I guess. So that was wonderful, but I felt like, okay, I've cooled down now. What's left? Like, where do I go from here? And that wasn't very clear, and it wasn't really made very clear to me as well. So I feel like I had to kind of discover that for myself, and the only way I thought of discovering it was just to go for it and see what happened. So it wasn't whimsical, but I didn't really have anything planned. I was very lucky to have a family to return to. So I left the ashram, started to feel a bit guilty, and realized that my fanaticism was kind of loosening, and I was coming back down to planet Earth. And really, I guess I was really lucky in one way, because of the pandemic. I was just put into another crucible, which was my parents' house for 10 months. And so that, yeah, I was kind of just really thinking about everything that I've learned in these past years in the ashram, and how I can apply these things to my future self. And I also kind of challenged myself, like, okay, so these things I've been studying about and practicing in the ashram, if they're actually like universal truth, then surely I can apply them in any context and they'll be true.
Yes.
So that was the challenge to myself, and that was the challenge to God. So yeah, I guess the last year or so, the main theme of my life has just been to throw myself outside of my comfort zone and see what happens. And it's been wonderful. I would highly recommend it to anyone and everyone to just, as often as possible, launch yourself outside of your comfort zone and put all of your faith in God, and incredible things will happen. So yeah, as I said, my second transition from my parents' house to a new life was just going to be to have a holiday in Puerto Rico. but here I am. Yeah, I would love to actually. But Krishna brought me here, you know, he brought me to London.
Yes.
And
then maybe he I don't know. We don't know his plans.
We don't know his plans, but he like, yeah, in London it's incredible. There was just a community here ready to embrace me and kind of love me and understand me and give me opportunities. And so there's so much going on. One of those things is this building here. This is our Studio 108 building. And so, yeah, we've been holding events here for the past few weeks, and it's something we're really building up. And it's interesting because we want to bring Krishna consciousness to 2021, you know?
Yes.
I think,
no.
yeah.
Yes.
A lot of, yeah, Krishna's kind of stuck somewhere in the 70s or the 80s. So we're trying to make Krishna cool again.
Yes.
Yes.
That is
You're doing an
our
amazing.
mantra.
Yes.
That is our mantra.
That is Acharya Deva's mantra.
Yes.
And we are trying all the time to.
And I have to say, for what I have seen from your work, is that you're doing an amazing job. You're doing an amazing job to make it accessible.
Indeed.
Yes, you inspire. You don't know to which extent you have inspired us with your song, and yes, that was out of this planet totally. So we have one more question, which is really heavy, but then after that we have
a little surprise.
We have a surprise.
No, don't speak more.
No,
it's not Jake. It's not Jake again, is it? I can't.
Now it's a surprise for us. From us
Okay.
for you.
Because I can only handle.
I have to do the last question.
Yes.
Okay.
In most of your songs, you talk about real love. Could you describe what it means to you? Real love.
Definitely. For me, real love is defined by something that is unconditional, which means that nobody's perfect other than Krishna.
Obviously.
But for some reason we have this expectation that everyone should be perfect. We should be perfect, and our parents and our friends and our partners should all be perfect in some way or another, and it's just impossible. I don't know why we project this kind of idea onto ourselves and onto our loved ones. But real love,
expectations.
Yeah, like, for instance, can I be kind of like honest with you all?
Yes, please.
Of course.
Okay.
We want that.
Okay, so I'm 25 years old now. I've only had one like serious relationship, as in a partner relationship in my life, and that was 3 years. That lasted for 3 years, and then I joined the ashram, and I thought that after leaving the ashram, I'll probably never have a relationship again, because I don't know, where do you go from being a monk for 5 years? So I thought, how is this going to happen? So, but actually now I've started speaking with someone again, and there's a prospect of having a relationship. And I just realized, like yesterday, I have to be very careful, because what I'm unconsciously doing is I'm looking at this person and thinking, are you perfect? Are you, are you good enough? Like, where are the imperfections? And at the moment there aren't any, but they definitely exist, because nobody is perfect.
Obviously. Yes.
So then it gets to a point in our lives where we may have affection for another, whether they are family, friends, partner, or God. We may have this affection, but it gets to a point in any relationship where you have to ask yourself, am I willing to love this person unconditionally? Even whatever happens, if they smell strange or say something upsetting, or whatever it is, we have to ask ourselves, am I willing to love this person unconditionally? And for me, that's real love. And that real love is found in its most complete form in one's relationship with God. So if God is possible of loving us truly and unconditionally, and if we are part of God, then surely we have the ability, capacity, and potential to love others unconditionally. And I think this is the quest of life, and this is the quest of real love, is to become a unconditional lover.
Love it.
Yeah,
Wow.
thank you so much.
Excellent answer. Excellent. Thank you so so much for this, for your time, your inspiration. And we have a little surprise that Gandini is going to show you.
Yeah, thank you
Okay.
so much for these very deep felt answers, very genuine, very transparent, and very inspiring. You have so much said, so much. Hopefully you can hear yourself again speaking in here, because it has been a lot of nectar for everybody. So let me share this. Let's see if I can do it perfectly well. Let's see. Can you guys see?
Yeah.
All right. So
Yeah.
this is this supposed to go away? Okay.
I'm telling you to chant, chant, chant. You're telling me you can't, can't, can't. I just want you to be happy. I'm telling you to dance, dance, dance. You're saying not a chance, chance, chance. I just want you to be happy. Chant and dance. Chant and dance. Chant and dance. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Haribo.
Haribo!
Haribol!
Wow, I love that devotee with the golden radanga. That was epic.
Yes, yes, yes.
Aradia Devidasi from Nicaragua.
Wow,
Yeah,
tell her
yes.
I love her very much.
Yeah, we know. We once let you know about how Latin American is dancing with you, and and thank you so much for being our inspiration, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. I'll probably be smiling for at least another 3 months after this. And
Daksha in the kitchen was in her restaurant, was
Uh-huh.
all the crew of Daksha,
All the staff.
dancing
Uh-huh.
together for us, for you, really.
wow,
All
that's
for you.
incredible. You know, it's so touching because yeah, you know, like being an artist is incredible, but usually artists are also they have this, I don't know, I guess this curse that is usually found in self-doubt. You know, we doubt ourselves often, not just artists, but everyone. And it's just so nice to see that my humble attempts at trying to offer something with love has touched, you know, other people in a positive way. And I feel very encouraged and inspired to share more and offer more.
Please.
And
Yes.
yeah, I'm
Yes.
so grateful to you all, and I cannot wait to come and visit you personally and serve you and sing with you and dance with you and laugh with you, and
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yes,
Yes.
please, please. we are very dedicated to hospitality here, so you can come whenever you want. You can and as you can see, your music has a big impact here. So
that's great. I'm glad you're hospitable, because I'm very needy. So that's a good relationship.
And also we are, you know, sometimes we are with the same goal that you have, in the sense, you know, Krishna conscious for the 2021 century, and make it in that balance that you don't have to be a monk to be spiritual, you know, that you can have this, like you said, I love that test you say for God to see if it's true, we work everywhere. So that's what we are doing ourselves, you know, in our lives. And sometimes it gets challenging, but it's our goal. So together, you know, that's where we hold hands from people, you know, that we can feel like we are inspiring each other, you know, sadhu sangha. So
definitely, we need to learn to collaborate and not compete.
Exactly.
You know? Competition never goes well when we have the same goal. You know, we should collaborate towards the same goal. So thank you all for inspiring and encouraging me, and I really hope that I can reciprocate in some way or another.
You reciprocated before.
Thank you so much for your time, your inspiration, for everything, for this interview, for everything. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
well,
thank you.
Please do stay in touch with me, and I will try my very best to stay in touch with you all. And this is just the beginning of a relationship that I hope will last for many moons. many moons.
Thank you so much.
Keli,
Bye-bye.
we would like to invite you to some of our programs. Maybe you can give us some of your insight, and at least for a short class or something, maybe you can participate, and you know,
sounds wonderful.
Share all of that with a lot of more people.
Sounds incredible. Yeah, I have I have been blessed actually with such an expert mentor and spiritual guide. His Holiness Devamrita Swami, he's really a pioneer for Western outreach.
Yes.
And so we've been implementing some of his formula and his kind of his techniques here in London, and it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. So I would love to share what I have, what's been given to me. They say if you don't use it, then you lose it. So I'd love to share, and please let me know. Please don't hesitate if I can be of any service to you in the future.
We'll be in touch.
Also, if you need anything from Latin America or Spanish speakers, let us know.
Jai.
Yes.
Okay.
Haribol.
Sending you all lots of love. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Haribol.
Haribo. Haribo.
Oh.
Yay.